This video will teach you how to solve multi-step problems using the correct order of operations. We're going to start with this longer, more difficult problem. 2 to the third power, or 2 cubed, plus 6 times 3 divided by 2 minus 3 plus 5 in the parentheses equals what? Well, this is a much longer problem than we're normally used to. There are specific steps that we take to solve these long problems and simplify them into just one answer. The first step is parentheses, which are these brackets right here. The second is exponents. The third is multiplication and division. You could flip them either way, division, multiplication. They're really the same step. And deciding what goes first is based off of the star here from left to right. Whatever is furthest to the left goes first. Same thing with step 4, which is addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction, the order is really determined based on what's on the left and what's on the right. A good poem that people use, or just is, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally for leaving the room. Please, parentheses, excuse exponents, my multiplication, dear division, Aunt addition, Sally subtraction, for from leaving, left to the room." Right. The first step we're going to focus in on is parentheses. Always complete the operation inside the parentheses first. So in our problem, 2 to the third power plus 6 times 3 divided by 2 minus, in parentheses, 3 plus 5. We always do what's in the parentheses first, and we use the correct order of operations within the parentheses. So if there were multiple steps, like multiplication and addition, we would do the multiplication first. Exponents and subtraction, we do the exponents first. We do the right order of operations within the parentheses. Here there's only one operation to do, so that's pretty simple. We take that parentheses and we move it off to the side, and we just do that problem. 3 plus 5, well, we all know that equals 8, and we write it down over here. Be sure to keep rewriting your equation, 2 to the third power plus 6 times 3 divided by 2 minus 8, but including the new number from the previous problem. As we go along, you should notice that there's one less number or so each time we go through a step. We're going to go on to step 2 now, and step 2 focuses on exponents. Exponents are the excuse part from "please excuse my dear Aunt Sally for leaving the room." An exponent is telling you to multiply a base number, this would be a base here, that too, by itself a certain number of times. For example, 3 to the second power is 3 times 3. 3 times itself 2 times. 3 times 3. Here, if we look at our original problem, we have 2 to the third power, or 2 cubed. We underline that right there, and we move it off to the side, and we do 2 to the third power, which equals 2 times 2 times 2. Notice the 3. Notice the 3 2's. That's how we do it. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. We take that 8 and we write our equation down again, replacing the 2 cubed with our answer for that, which is 8. So now we've simplified our problem to be 8 plus 6 times 3 divided by 2 minus 8. Looks a lot simpler than the one we had in our original problem from back in the beginning. Just a quick note, when you see a number, a base number, to the second power is also called squared. An n to the third power is also called a number cubed. Alright, we are going to move on to step 3. Please excuse my dear. My dear stands for multiplication and division. Multiplication and division, specifically with that star from the left to the right. These steps are both in third place. You figure out which to do first by going from the left to the right in the problem. Let's take what we were left with at the end of step 2, which was 8 plus 6 times 3 divided by 2 minus 8, and I underline all of the ones that would be dealt with in step 3. So any multiplication and division problem. 1, 2. Now, I don't care multiplication or division, that's not how I figure out what we go first. Just because my comes before dear in the poem does not mean multiplication always goes before division. You have to figure it out based on going from the left to the right. So we underline both of them. The one on the left is the multiplication. That's what we do first. 6 times 3 is 18. We rewrite the equation again, simplifying 6 times 3 into 18. So now we have 8 plus 18 divided by 2 minus 8. Well, now we take that division, which is still underlined. We do the 18 divided by 2, simplify it to 9, and our problem now just looks like 8 plus 9 minus 8. Make sure to keep rewriting your problem as you go on. These steps are extremely important. This keeps us organized so that we don't lose where we are and get some answers going the wrong way. All right, let's move on to step 4. Step 4, addition and subtraction. Aunt Sally, from the left to the right, left of the room. These are both step 4, just like step 3. You figure out which to do first by going from the left to the right. So I underlined all the addition and subtraction ones. There are 2 of them. Go from left to the right. You can see I do this addition before subtraction. Just works out this way. If subtraction was first, you would do subtraction first. 8 plus 9 is 17, so I simplify the problem to now be 17 minus 8. Now, finally, I get to this last step, 17 minus 8. Do it here, I get 9. This is the only number left. Notice I've gone from all the numbers at the beginning to now 3, 2, and finally we have 1 left. That's 9. That is our answer. Yay! Now, here's what it's going to look like when you do it on scratch paper. You start with your base problem, 2 to the third power plus 6 times 3 divided by 2 minus 3 plus 5. You'll notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Really, we have to do some problem with this. It could be 7. And in the end, we're going to simplify it to that 9. This is how I do my work. Each step, I do my parentheses, change to that 8. I do that exponent, change to that 8. Do that multiplication, change to 18. Do the division, change that to 9. That 9 right there. Do my addition, 17. Do the subtraction, left with 9 as my answer. All that extra work, if I need to, if I have to do the 3 plus 5 equals 8, I do it over here. I do it all on the right so I can keep my work all organized while still showing any work that I may be confused with. For example, that 2 to the third power, I may want to write that out. 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 more is 8. But I write that all out to the right so it doesn't interfere and get me confused when I look to see how my equation changed from that whole long equation to my eventual answer. Here's another example. 6 plus 3 squared times 2 minus 1. Well, let's simplify it. First thing we do is that parentheses. 2 minus 1 is 1. So now, 6 plus 3 squared times 1. Okay, well, simple enough. Let's now do the exponent. That's our next step. 6 plus 3 squared is just 3 times 3. That's 9. I did that work off to the side here, as you could see. 6 plus 9 times 1. Next, my dear, that would be the multiplication division step. I see multiplication right there. 9 times 1 is 9. 6 plus 9. Finally, I've got my last step, addition, subtraction. I have addition right here. 6 plus 9 is 15. Remember to keep your work organized. Rewriting your problem with each step and showing your work to the side will help you solve any multi-step problem. Finally, here are some tips to follow. Take your time. This is not a race. Step 1, parentheses. Step 2, exponents. Step 3, multiply and divide from the left to the right. Step 4, add and subtract from the left to the right. Next hint, stack your work, show your work. Constantly do that. Those were the 2 columns we talked about. And finally, third little hint, decide what to do first between the 2 sister operations by going from the left to the right. If you follow all these steps, order of operations will be a piece of cake.